Hi everyone, this is Caitlin Martin and I'm going to be doing a screencast to show you how to use your introductory ELA units in BUZZ. Welcome to Level 1 ELA. This year's curriculum units are organized around the daily 5, including work on reading, work on writing, and word work. Let's log in and check the resources that have been provided to you. As always, these are available to meet the required standards for Levels 1 and 2, and you have the flexibility to curate additional resources and load them into your courses. Regardless of the resources you use to personalize and meet the needs of each child, you will be responsible for ensuring that all students master the required standards. We are going to begin by logging into BUZZ from the teacher side to see the resources that are available to you. You will then log in using your username and password. Think of BUZZ as your digital planner. It allows you to organize your resources to best meet the academic needs, interests, and learning styles of your students. In order to log into the learning platform, first go to your school's BUZZ login page and log in using your username and password. I will be demonstrating the platform and course setup using the Kindergarten ELA course for today. First, I'm going to log in. Then, I will click on the course I want to work on. Once you are in the course, you will see a dashboard with 7 options on the left-hand side. In order to edit content as a teacher, you will scroll all the way down and click on the curriculum map icon. Once you click on the curriculum map icon, you will see this page. On the left side of the screen is the course, shown by the units. On the right side, you see detailed information for the unit that is highlighted. This is where you will find your enduring understandings, essential questions, vocabulary, standards, and a description. You can click the arrow to the side to access course links. In the course links, you will find quick access to a few things. Imagine Learning, one of our ELA curriculum resources, PS Pathway, an individualized plan created from performance series results, the Storytown student textbook and leveled readers, NetTrekker, a search engine for content, and Starfall, a website with interactive phonics games for kids. Currently, the Storytown textbook links are under construction while domain name issues are solved. However, once this is solved, the under construction will be removed and you will have access to the Storytown online textbook and leveled readers. While this is the kindergarten course, the 1st and 2nd grade courses are also set up in a similar fashion. This unit structure comes from the Oakland Atlas curriculum. On the left-hand side, you see 5 units. The bottom unit has a little icon next to it. If you hover over the icon, you will see it says, Teacher Content Not Visible to Students. This means while you can see this from the teacher side, your students will not be able to see this particular unit. It is only for you. You have several options at the top, such as to add a unit or to move a unit up and down. I'm going to show you some of the options you have within each unit. I'm going to click on Launching the Reading Workshop. Launching the Reading Workshop, like the other ELA units, is set up in a layered way. When you click on one of the units, it's going to expand all of the folders. I find it helpful to close them before I navigate through. In each of the K-2 courses, each unit has 3 folders that students will see. Work on reading, work on writing, word work, which is phonemic awareness or phonics depending on grade level. In addition, there is always a PD folder, which is only on the teacher side. We are first going to focus on the PD folder, which, once again, is not visible to students. Within the PD folder, you see several options. Within the first units of the course, you will find a year overview folder. If you click on the folder, it will expand the section to show what else is in it. One thing you will find here is the scope and sequence for the year, which shows the reading and writing unit structure for all grades K through 2. This will give you an idea of where your students are coming from and where they are headed. It also shows similarities and differences among the years. Next, you will find a brief Daily 5 explanation. Daily 5 is a framework for structuring literacy time so students develop lifelong habits of reading, writing, and working independently, and is part of the foundation of the organization of the ELA courses. Finally is the Level 1 and 2 Standard Tracker, which is a tracker for all of the Common Core standards covered throughout the course. In the PD folder for every unit, you will also find this folder titled Unit and Lesson Plans. This is where you will find the lesson plans for the unit you are looking at. In this particular unit, Launching the Reading Workshop, it contains 1 reading module, 2 writing modules, and 1 word work module. This is what you will work on over the 8-week period. In order to see a particular item, you should click on the magnifying glass. This will bring up a preview of the item. I'm going to click on the Kindergarten Writing Resources for launching the writing workshop to preview it. So first I'm going to click on it to where it's highlighted, and then I'm going to click Preview. Once this window comes up, this little cloud with the arrow means there is something for you to download. When I click on the arrow here, I see that there is more than one thing within the Resources folder for this unit. This is true in the others as well. The lesson plans, useful unit resources, and work samples are some of the items you may find here. If you click on the arrow and then the item, it will download the document to your computer. Once the item is downloaded, then you can open the document to see the lesson plans for the particular unit. This is one example of the daily lesson plans that are provided in these units. The word work resources for Unit 1 contain two different things. First is the phonics sample lesson plans. The phonics sample lesson plans show printable sample mini lessons for you to use for the word work in this unit. In order to see the list, click on the folder, then click on the magnifying glass for any item you would like to preview. You are then able to save or print these documents for your own use. The sample lesson plans are teacher resources, so they are not things you will show to your students. Next are letter and sound resources. In this folder, you can find directions and student pages that correspond with the phonics targets in this unit. Just like before, click on the item you would like to look at, and then click on the magnifying glass to preview. In the higher levels, instead of letters and sound resources, you will find things like blending and segmenting resources or other level appropriate content. Next is the templates folder. In the templates folder, you will find a year-long standards tracker, which is also housed in the year overview folder in the first unit of each course, as well as the student-facing picture target tracker for the first unit. I will show you a preview of the picture target tracker. The Picture Target Tracker is a great tool for your students to keep and see what targets they have mastered so far in this unit and what targets they still have to master. Next, you will find resources, including text resources such as the teacher side of the Storytown materials. Some of the Storytown resources for teachers you will find are the teacher addition to the textbook, the Teacher's Guide to Level Readers for on-level, below-level, above-level, and ELL students, Literacy Center cards for multiple levels, copying masters, and a student practice book. Finally is the assessment folder. In the assessment folder, you will find several grade-level Dolch Word assessments, as well as the Common Core assessment packet for kindergarten. I'm going to preview this assessment for you now because it's a very useful tool. I want to first point out that this document has 4 assessments, all of which include both ELA and math together. It covers Common Core standards and differentiates assessments that should be done through observation or through actual demonstration, and gives you some resources and templates to use for the demonstration pieces. This assessment document will be in both the ELA and math courses for these units. In the PD folder throughout the year, you will find target trackers, sample assessments, and any other relevant teacher documents. The PD folder will not show up on your students' accounts. This is just for you. Now let's take a look at some of the items that will show up on your students' accounts. The work on reading, work on writing, and word work sections are all things that will show up on your student's page. I have now switched over to the student side. I have a sample student login account to show you what it will look like. On my homepage, I have each of the 4 content courses. Your student should have a similar view. Once I click on the K-ELA course, I have an option to click on which unit I am working on. The little running man shows where I currently should be working according to pace. I'm going to click on that unit. I am now able to choose from the Work on Reading, Work on Writing, and Word Work folders. I'm going to choose Work on Reading, and then the first target. Once on the student side, the Work on Reading section is organized by I can statements. These come from the unit plan, which can be found in the PD folder on the teacher side. My folders are now organized into Learn, Practice, and Apply. You can manage the number of options a student sees by keeping items in the Choice option and then moving them to Required or hiding them and only making them available at the appropriate time you are introducing a topic. Another option is to create a flattened structure in which everything a student sees is required and is not located within folders. This may be an option as you introduce the platform to your students. I can help you add an introductory unit if you wish. I'm going to click on the Learn folder. I then see that I have 4 options, all of which are required. This is the exact view that your students will see. Based on teacher feedback, we are adding tabs of color to denote activities which are Learn, Practice, and Apply, as well as color thumbnails with book jackets and activity intros to help provide better cues as to what is inside each activity. This will be done the week of September 22nd. This is an example of what the new student view might look like. The top portion of each of these activities is blue, meaning they are all learn activities. If they were practice or apply, they would be shown in a different top color. In addition, the thumbnails give a sample of what the actual activity actually is. With all learn, practice, or apply activities, as students begin working in a student-centered learning classroom, it is necessary to provide some choice. I will now show you how to do that. Back on the teacher side, I see the same exact activities that I just saw as a student. I see that there are 4 activities under the Learn folder. If you click on the Learn folder, it should be highlighted in yellow. On the right-hand side, you will see a section called Student Choice. To enable student choice, check the box. It then gives you the option to pick the number of required activities. I'm going to make 1 required choice. I'm going to leave the choosing a book and voice volume activities as required. However, since I have 2 ways to learn about taking care of books, I'm going to drag those into the Choice folder. I want my students to choose how they are going to learn about taking care of books. So the taking care of book options are now in lighter gray because they are choice activities. Now let's see how that looks from the student side. When I click on Learn, I see the 2 required activities right away. However, one difference is the plus sign. I now have options to choose from. When I click on the plus sign, I see the 2 different options that I'm able to choose from. When I click on the activity, it adds it to my plan, and then the choice option disappears because I have already made my choice. At the start of the year, you may want to limit choices and then increase them as you go. One huge advantage to the new interface of the online platform is the flexibility of its design. It is very simple to reorganize items into a structure that works for you. Here's an example. This teacher has set up her course in a daily structure. She has added her own units, titled Monday through Thursday, and then hidden the rest from students. Within each of the daily units, she has copied and pasted some of the items from Unit 1, taking 1 reading, 1 writing, and 1 word work task from each day. From the student side, which is now shown, this now just appears as 4 days. This means that as soon as students log in, they will see the 4 days on the screen. They will not have to click through the folders as shown in the previous example. Students go directly to the days of the week and know what they should be working on each day. For the next week, the teacher will then add more items to each of the days. Courses can be easily modified like this in a way that works best for you and your students. Let me know if you would like assistance in setting up your course in a different way. This has been an overview of the first units in the Kindergarten ELA course. Feel free to explore and begin to use this and the following units. Remember, the learning platform works as an excellent planner for you and should be used to meet the needs of your students. This means you can and should add things to your units and customize the options to meet the personalized needs of your students. I will plan to work with you at your schools whenever you need assistance, and I'm looking forward to a great year. To see reporting tools and how to use real-time data feeds to monitor your students' progress, check out my next screencast on these tools. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is cmartin@eaaofmichigan.org. Thanks, and thanks for listening.